Hello and welcome to Baking on a Budget. Now in this episode what we're going to make is these delicious fruit scones, enjoyed by all of the family, and don't they look delicious? Okay, so first of all let me run through the ingredients that we're going to be using and the cost of these ingredients. Very inexpensive to make but absolutely delicious. Okay, here we go. We're going to have 300 grams of self-raising flour and that's going to cost a total of 15 pence. We have 80 grams of unsalted butter, which is 60 pence. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of baking powder, which is about 3 pence. There's a pinch of salt. We cannot really cost that, I don't think. We have 30 grams of castor sugar, which is 5 pence. We have 100 grams of dried fruit, which is 25 pence. And we have 150 millilitres of milk, which is 9 pence. So the entire cost of this recipe is £1 17 pence. And from that we're going to get about 6 scones, so each scone is going to cost us about 19 pence to make. Now making these scones is simplicity itself. The only other things that we're going to need is a mixing bowl and a baking sheet or baking tray for when we bake them in the oven. I've also got here a sieve, just so we can sieve out the flour as we go, make it nice and fine. This flour in the bowl and we'll whack that through a sieve just to get any lumps out of it and put a little bit of air into it. And that should go into there quite nicely. And there it is, and any little pieces or lumps left in the bottom of that, just push them through with your hand. The ingredients are in the description below, but I'll go through them as we make this. That's 300 grams of self-raising flour, and into that we have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm just going to give that a quick stir in there, like so. And into that, the next thing we want to put is 80 grams of unsalted butter. Now, the trick here is to get that flour rubbed into the butter, or the butter rubbed into the flour, whichever way you go with that. And the idea is just to continue this motion, right? You want to get the little pieces of butter and just rub the flour into it like this. This will take a couple of minutes. So I'm going to continue with this and then I'll show you what it looks like when we get back. So a couple of minutes work and it should be looking something like this. It's a light sort of breadcrumb consistency to that. Just want to make sure all of the larger lumps of the butter are out of there, and then you can just rub that in the hands if you wish, just to make sure that everything's nice and combined. Okay, that being that, next thing we want to put in is sugar. This is 30 grams of castor sugar. I'll just chuck that in. And then we have 100 grams of these sultanas. I'm putting sultanas in here. Could put raisins or any type of dried fruit really. Or you could have them plain if you wish. Now here I have 150 millilitres of milk, and I'm going to pour this in. I'll make a little hole in the middle for it. Pour that in, and then we just want to combine the milk and the dry ingredients to make a dough. Now the thing with making dough of any description is you don't want to overwork it. The more you work it and the more you put your hands in it and stuff like this, the more air you will knock out of it. And we want the air to remain in it, and that will make for a nice light scone afterwards. So we just want to mix that in. You can see that's sticking together there nicely now. I'll just put the last of that milk in. So that being mixed in, we just want to see if we can bring that together with our hand. Again, very lightly. We're not kneading this or anything like that. We're just bringing it together so that we can get it out onto the board in one piece. Okay, right, that'll do. Right, next phase. Before I roll this out, I'm going to crack an egg into this cup, like so. Get rid of that. I'm going to mix that up just so this is going to be an egg wash for the top of the scones before they go into the oven, and that'll give them that nice brown sort of crispness on the top. So very simple, 1 egg, that's it. Now we want to lightly flour this board, not too much. And we want to get our dough onto the board like so. Put a little bit of flour on the rolling pin, again not a lot, and then we just want to roll this out. And we're going to roll this out to about, I don't know, I would say about 2 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters thick. And try to keep that as even as possible. So it's about 1 inch, just under 1 inch thick. Now we want this. That looks to be about right to me. Again, I'm rolling this very lightly, really. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the pin. And here we have a 2-inch cutter, and we're just going to cut them scones out of there, like that. Get it out, there it is, there's 1. 5, looks like we might get 7 out of this. Might get 7 scones out of this mixture, which would bring our price down from 19 pence to a little under that. I'll work out what that is. Right, but we've brought that back together. Again, not bringing it back together much, just enough to hold it. And then we can roll that back out to about the same thickness. And we'll get another one there. Like so. We'll get another one there. I think we're lucky. We're going to get 8 of these. We're going to get 8 scones for £1.17. Now, I will work out how much that is per scone, but just give me one moment and I'll finish this off first. That's the last one. This will probably rise a little less than the others because it has had a little bit of work. Right, so I'm going to take that out of there. There you go. We have our baking sheet or baking tray. Now these are going to rise mainly upwards. They're not going to spread this much, all that much. So we should be able to get them all on here. Ooh, just. It's a squeeze, but it looks okay. Right, and I'll just put those in another little tray next to them. Right, so they are prepped and ready for the oven. The only thing we want to do is put a little egg wash on them. And again, we don't want a massive amount of that, just to brown the tops of them, so to speak. Okay, there they are, ready to go in the oven. Now, these are going to go into an oven heated to about 200 degrees centigrade. They're going to stay in there for about 12 to 15 minutes, something like that. Just go keep an eye on them. 8 scones, total recipe cost is £1.17. That makes it 14 pence per scone. A beautiful scone, 14 pence. I'm going to put these in the oven. Okay, they've been in the oven about 13 minutes. So I'm going to get them out, see what they look like. And there they are, look at them. They look absolutely delicious. Now the thing with the scone is these are very hot, they've just come out of the oven. But if you lift it, hear that? It's hollow inside. Well, not hollow, but fluffy. So they are done to a turn, actually. Now I'm going to get these out on a baking tray. We're going to let them cool for a little bit, and then we're going to taste one. Now I think you'll agree this is one delicious looking scone. I've dressed this a little. I've put some jam in it, some raspberry jam, a little bit of whipping cream, and some icing sugar on top. Now the entirety of the cost of this scone is with the whipping cream and the jam. It probably has brought it back up to 19 pence. But if you just have them like this, fresh out the oven, beautiful, like that, 14 pence. 14 pence. Baking on a budget, that's what it's all about. Now, the most important thing about any recipe or baking is the taste. So, I'm going to deconstruct this scone a little bit. I'm going to take up a little bit of the cream on there. That practically melts in the mouth. That is a delicious scone, I've got to say. I'll try some with the jam. That was worth it. It was worth the time, and it was definitely worth the money. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this scone, and me and the rest of the family will enjoy the rest of these scones over the coming days. I do hope you've enjoyed the video, and I encourage you to try this recipe yourself. It's very easy, as you've seen. It took no more than 10 minutes to put all this together, and what you end up with is the most delightful scone. Much better than a supermarket bought one. Those ones in the supermarket, they can be a little bit spongy, a little bit dry, whereas this is light, it's fluffy, it melts in the mouth, absolutely beautiful. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, because there's going to be more recipes like this every week. If you've enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up. I thank you very much for watching, and next week I think we're going to be making a sumptuous lemon drizzle cake, and this is also on a budget. Per slice, I think this comes out at about 30 pence per slice, something like that, and it's an absolutely beautiful cake. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.